Hey everyone, and welcome to Unsupervised Consequences. I'm your host, Dino the Genetic Marvel, and I'm talking about how I went from a land manatee to a husky dolphin. Sure, that seems like a good comparison. I am talking about all sorts of stuff, aren't I? In my previous series, I documented how I went from 450 pounds, over 450 pounds, to 290 pounds, which is where I'm floating around right now. And I'm actually on hour 51 of my fast right now because I'm looking to break that barrier and I want to get, I still have quite a bit of weight to lose. So I'm doing that right now. But what I'm talking about today is autopilot. I came back. I went on vacation with my wife, and I had talked about my previous series how we have roadblocks. A lot of that series was around mindset and how it kind of plays into everything because a lot of times we find that we will trick ourselves. I was talking with another comedian the other night, and we were saying how um, your body is an idiot, right? Like but your brain can be a real bastard, and it tries to deceive. So, well, listen, you walked for all this time. You should, you deserve a reward. You should have ice cream. It's summertime. Why don't you have more ice cream? Which, the rationale, you're like, well, that's logic. You can't really fight that, but it betrays you, right? So, um, in coming back from vacation, the hard part was really that. hmm, you have to figure out getting back on track, trusting the process and all these things, which have all definitely factored in. And I'm right there where I want to be, but I need to keep on going, right? Because um, I think I've said this many times is, you have to do things you've never done to get to where you've never been. I think a lot of people have heard that before, but I digress. Today we're talking about autopilot. The idea of autopilot, a lot of people will refer to it as going through the motions and things of that nature. The idea that you don't have to think for it to happen, and how treacherous that could be. And that's true. It's very treacherous at times because we find that we will always procrastinate for certain things. We're like, oh, I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. And suddenly it's a new season. And then suddenly it's been a year. And suddenly we're going, what happened? Right. Um, I was talking with a friend recently that planning on doing some business. It didn't work out, but he was saying how he came to the country with the idea that he would make some money, take it home, and start doing stuff. And suddenly, 20 years have passed, and he's still doing the same stuff. And that's not how he wants to be remembered. That's not how he wants to live his life. And I agree with him. And I'm in the same situation where I'm trying to achieve what I've never achieved before, with the idea that I can push forward and push through and keep on persevering. Um, Now, the idea that you can do that with willpower alone is, whoever says that is lying to you. I have been able to do all this with the support of my wife, family around me, friends, strangers. Lots of people have commented, and it helps and it uplifts and it gets you going when you don't want to go. But in talking about all autopilot, one of those key uh, uh, factors in it is specifically the idea that there's more to it. There's a lot more that you have to do in each situation and each environment. But when you formulate a plan, then you're in a position where you can allow or trust that process in its infancy to kind of get you through. And that's one of those key things. Thanks, honey. But understanding that, understanding the perspective that if you set up a good autopilot, like think about it, it's the reason it's called autopilot is specifically because it does the job of the pilot on behalf of the pilot. The pilot's still there. The job's still happening. So it's meant to be an assistance. So one of the things, and I'll tell you right now that I subscribe to two daily emails that I actually read. I'm subscribed to lots of daily emails. Many I don't read and could care less about. But two that I do care about is, one is called the Daily Stoic, which is something I'm really experimenting with, and I think that I have something there and it's beneficial and trying to make it grow. The other one is from Arnold Schwarzenegger because I definitely respect what he's done in his life, and I do look at him as a role model. And some of the things that he says is that I believe he just had well, he released a show Fubar, which was hilarious, and he has a documentary on right now that I'm looking forward to watching, and he explains that before he does anything, um, before he checks his phone, checks his email, turns his computer, all those kind of things, is he goes out to his farm, feeds the animals, starts preparing, cleans out the stalls, does all those daily chores before he has breakfast, before. It's the first thing on his plate. And I'm trying to work that in. And so far, I've gotten up to a walk and getting out of bed, checking my phone on the toilet, and going for a walk. That's where I'm starting. And I want to get it to the point where I wake up, do my full workout before checking my phone before anything, and then start doing that kind of stuff. Because I'm not working out as much as I should. I know this, right? I do rely on fasting and eating one meal a day if I do eat to manage my weight, which is, while I do think it's healthy and beneficial in the long run, it is something that I have to incorporate. I think Arnold's morning routine is motivating. Well, that's exactly the idea, all right? Is because if it's motivating, then I should feel motivated. And if someone that we see who's done something amazing with their life and we want to do something amazing, it would make sense to follow their lead. And there's a certain mm, emotional connection to be said about the idea that there is a necessity in life to leading and following. Um, that's how we learn. And I know for me as a man, I always found it very beneficial to have. And I know the word mentor gets thrown away around a lot, and I find it kind of perplexing because a lot of the times people say, "Oh, I'm a mentor," and you're going, "What do you teach people? How to be a dickhead?" That doesn't make sense. Um, but the idea is that mentorship isn't necessarily catered or tailored. It's more so that we can lead by example in our own lives. And if we use that example, then, or if that example is explained properly and communicated properly, then others can use it to help them as a guide through those processes. That's something that I'm trying to do right here with this daily vlog and what I did with my last series, where entitled "Where Did the Rest of Me Go?" So um, that idea of being able to start off on the right foot, correct foot maybe, and being able to um, set the tone for your existence in that fashion is something I'm currently striving to do because I feel that it would make me better and make me mm, unable to fail, if that makes any sense. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of times that today is one of those days. I'm on my second day of second full day already completed. I'm on my third day of fasting technically, and I'm tired. I'm hungry. I didn't sleep well. I've been doom scrolling a lot, which is definitely not healthy. And so me and my wife watched a bunch of cooking today and just kind of enjoyed ourselves. That's not There's nothing wrong with that. It's Saturday, we're relaxing. And for me, I'm gonna go and do some live comedy for tonight, which if you're in the area, it's down in Woodbine at Growers World Growers World, 1775 Danforth Avenue. If you want to check it out, you're more than welcome to come. It starts around 9. So that being said, one of the key components has been and will always be, I think, is that if we don't give ourselves the opportunity to consider it, we can let ourselves kind of run on the principles that we set forth in the beginning of the day. And a lot of times, I know for myself, I believe for most of my youth, I said the only reason I'm going to get up before 7 o'clock is for God, and He made me quite a few times. He really did, and to my own benefit, I'll admit that. But I'm not necessarily, well, it's not a morning person or a night owl. I'm more sort of a screaming pigeon in the night, because I have a bad case. I believe it's FOMO, fear of missing out, because there's so much to consume, there's so much to do, so much to see, so much to know, so much knowledge everywhere that we constantly strive for that. So by kind of setting the tone for the day early in the morning, I strive to connect those dots and use that autopilot to my benefit instead of the other way, which is to just sit there and like scroll on your phone, just watch YouTube and things like that, which I think we all suffer from in some way, shape, or form. But that's really the idea behind the benefits of autopilot and why it can be very treacherous when left unchecked. But alternatively, it can be one of our greatest allies to kind of set the tone for the day and to push forward to reach our goals before we even have an option of abandoning it. So I'm going to leave it there. If you thought this was beneficial, please like, share, subscribe. I, am going to keep on going with this daily to do my best to share it with people and try and give some good to the world. So feel free to share it with other people if you think they may benefit from it, or even to your own pages. And I would greatly appreciate it. In the meantime, have a wonderful day. Go out and get some sunshine and try and be a little bit active, even if it's just a walk up and down the stairs. See ya. Have a great day.